Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Signal Alliance webinar on optimize IT infrastructure and reduce IT spend with digital transformation. And this webinar is going to last for 45 minutes. And at the end of the webinar, we're going to take questions. Also, we're going to have time for questions. And so there is a question tab on your screen. You can always ask your questions, and at the end we will answer them. So let's welcome Mr. Yinka Adeoshu as he takes us on the webinar. Okay, Mr. Yinka, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Ebuka. Yeah, once again, my name is Yinka Adeoshu, as been shown on the screen. I'm the lead solution architect for Cisco Business and Signal Alliance. Today, I'm going to take us through on optimize IT infrastructure, reduce IT spending with digital transformation. Everybody, looking at our agenda, going to run us through 4 key agendas here. Why do I care? The key concept of the solution, and then also the entire solution overview, and the takeaway, which is where to get started. Now, the digital disruption is real and it's happening right now, and it will affect every industry on every average. And from the survey, about 40% of top IT market leaders will be displaced by digital disruption. So there is no time to lose, and the significant disruption in the next 3 years is going to have a massive grave danger to business, and only few companies that are active responding, and most companies don't even understand what is happening to them right now. Maybe because out of they are not that IT savvy, so to speak, and so many other companies don't even know what to do. And the digital business is moving fast. What I say is moving fast in an exponential rate, and it's moving faster than ever. And the digital disruption, the digital business is actually being powered by software, which is the key strategy of digitalization. But one of the key elements, requirement, is your IT infrastructure. And the question is your IT infrastructure resilient enough to be able to cope up with this speed or with it pace? And then also, especially your network. For an organization to be successful or to be successfully transit into digital work, they must invest in the network, which is a key element. And it's the network that connects all things together in a digital way. And is the cornerstone where digital success is realized and also either lost. It's the first line of defense for your pathway for productivity and collaboration. And it will also enable all sort of things, how you connect your things, what I mean by the Internet of Things. We're moving into the emergence of the Internet of Things. Everything is now being onboarded and connected to the network. Now, the digital is fueled by several technology trends, so to speak. The likes of mobility, the likes of IoT, which is Internet of Things, the likes of cloud, and also the security element. So this year alone, the mobile traffic is expected to exceed the wire traffic. We all know that everybody is moving away from wire-centric connection to the network into wireless-centric network. Why? Because of easy mobility. It allows you to be able to move around faster. And then for IoT, every device that we have today are now being plugged into the network, so to speak, to the internet. Our cameras has been plugged to the internet. Our access control network, the door access control is being plugged to the internet. Our camera is being plugged into the system. Our cooling system is being plugged to the network. Our power control system is being plugged to the network. Even generators are being plugged to the network. Virtually everything, various, either from our homes or our businesses, even cars are being connected to the network. So we will see that the wave of this connection will continue to grow in exponential rate. And also, we live in multiple cloud world where we deliver a secure and reliable experience across multiple clouds. So people are onboarding into likes of Azure, people are onboarding into likes of Google Cloud, and also the Amazon AWS web service is also there. And this trend of last year will continue to expand. As it's expanding, that is where security is key. And you see that the average 3 months, there is always discovery of security breach. Not every company would discover this security breach. I can cite an example of Sony. Many of us will have heard about the Sony security breach that happened about 3 years ago. They are not aware that they've been breached, but it took over like a year before they got to know that they've been breached. So many companies today, even they could have been breached more than 5-10 years unknowingly, but because their focus is not majorly to understand what is going on their network. Now, what is intent-based network? Now, the intent-based network is what Cisco creates like an awareness of what you have, an intent of how you want to run your business. So you have to now create a networking solution that will be able to form around your intent of your business, and that will be formed. Sorry, excuse me, please. So at the end result will be your business outcome. So we use the intent-based network to be able to achieve, oh, this is my intent for my business, and then the outcome will be measured by KPI. And the question is, why should you care? Because we need to move from today's manual to fragmented and rigid network. We all have our switches in silo, we have our routers in silos, we have our firewalls in silos, our wireless access control is in silos, everything is in silos. So we do a kind of manual management of all these devices. So the only way is for us to move from the manual mode of management into an automated. Let machines talk to machines and be able to interact and heal itself. And then also, we are moving into an era of where you have your data is flowing on your network, but you don't have an insight of what is going on your network. So we are moving, the intent-based network is about having an insight of what is going on your network. And then also, we are living in the world of, or let me say, many companies today are still living in the world of where they put their security as the perimeter. Everybody only focus, let me create a barrier from my perimeter. I have my firewall, which is a perimeter firewall, is looking against what is coming from outside to my internet network. But the intent-based network is about having security everywhere. Now, the top IT priority focus for business is around these 7 pillars, which is secure users and applications, better application experience, open standard and third-party integration, lower bandwidth costs, faster network change through automation, increase bandwidth optimization, and then also deploy cloud-based application. Now we'll see that the IT priorities are based on business outcome. And that is what the business leaders are actually driving it. So they want to drive what is going to shape their business outcome. And the challenge is to ensure all these business priorities are successful. It's one of the key, challenge to make all this successful is one of the key challenges for IT leaders. And however, the expectation of IT are higher than before. Like in the past, if you look at like 10 years ago, the expectation of IT as against now. So expectation of IT now is much more higher, and that will also help them to deliver all business priority anywhere across the enterprise. Now, you have a mandate to build a secure network that supports ongoing innovation. So the key things for every business today is they want to focus on how do I secure everything? Because if I'm putting everything, I want them to be on the internet. I want to be able to monitor what is going on from my network, I mean, from my environment via cameras that has been spread across your environment. Of course, you need the security to also measure, to be able to secure everything end to end. Your data that is moving from your from your private network into the cloud, from the public cloud infrastructure, you want to measure that. And the demand on time, on IT time and resources have been higher than before. So the demand, because you have more things coming to your network, the businesses is now leveraging more on IT. So you see that the resource demand is getting more higher. And the company are placing increased demand on their IT infrastructure, which network play a crucial role. So by seeking to enable business and drive growth with IT trend, such as mobile access, social collaboration, or hybrid cloud and the cloud application, the organization is likely to think about the numbers of ways to grow. And I believe digitization is at the top of that list for every company. Now, the complexity where IT spend their time, if it now this survey was conducted by Cisco, is actually called a Cisco DNA customer survey, which was published last year. So for everybody to be able to pinpoint the areas of their challenge, and it's from the outcome is troubleshooting is classified as the top complexity where everybody spend a lot of their time. So we see that we want to see how the IT organization spend their time with various infrastructure. And the outcome of that, I mean Cisco want to see how IT organizations spend a lot of their time. And we now see that troubleshooting, everybody spend time on how to get things fixed, how to get it fixed. Even the time spent in configuration is less. The time spent to monitor is lesser than the time spent in configuration. Also, the Cisco internet-based network is to shift IT time to business into focus. So we have over about 70 customers which Cisco used to create this report. So from the outcome, it's saying 67% of them, they are saving network provision time. So the time it takes to provision your network is about 76% faster than when they're still on the normal legacy old manual way of being able to run things. And then also the rate at which issue has been resolved is about 80%. So because they are running an intent-based networking, so the time it takes them to be able to resolve issues is much faster. And then also the reduction in security breach is about 48%. So the impact of the breach, that is, if you even really know the impact in the first place. So without having a visibility, there is no even way to be able to understand whether you've been breached or not breached. And then also the reduction of the operating expenses. So the amount it costs to be able to manage this information. You can imagine to manage close to like 1,000 devices across the network, you might need like 10 people to be able to manage them. I'm saying, oh, for each 100 devices, I want to allocate a single resource. But if you have an intent-based solution that can be able to manage even close to like 10,000 at a time, and then what you only have is to have a visibility on the dashboard and be able to pinpoint the area of interest to you, in which the system itself is a self-healing and self-learning to be able to understand what is really going on. Now, we will now see that the challenge which the business usually faces, most especially to the branch, which is the front line of our digitization. So the branch is where I can term as the cash cow of business. So 80% of customers the customer facing are actually at the branch level, and the revenue being generated by majority of business today, 90% of that revenue is coming from the branch. So it shows the high importance of the branch in the digitization. So because branch is the customer facing, and we also need to talk about the challenges the branch faces and how they are placing pressure on wide area network. I'm still going to talk a little bit much about that on that one, and then the customer experience some of these challenges today as well. So the customer that you have, you can imagine, I'm going to use a financial institution for example. Somebody walks into a bank or move closer to an ATM machine and you want to conduct a transaction, and you realize that there's a network failure, or by the time you walk into the branch, they just tell you, sorry, we have an issue with our network connected to our head office. Another time you went back again, maybe few days or maybe a week after, and still tell you that, oh, sorry, you still have the problem. I'm sure you'll be discouraged to use such a bank. Exactly. So the more agile your branch is, have connection to the head office, and the faster you get delivery of services, the more you'll be able to have committed. You have more commitments, or you'll be committed to such a business. And we can see that the growing pressure on one edge is getting more, and because there are more users that are now being mobile users. Mobile users in the sense, of course, if I'm talking about branch, it could also be mobile users as they are connecting from your outside your office perimeter or your network perimeter into your network. It could be either through a portal that you've created in which everybody having access to. And they will also realize that more applications are now relying more on the bandwidth, most especially if you adopt a video. So if you have more video adoption, there is more tendency for you to have more demand on your one bandwidth. And then also it also increase the footprint of threats. So I'm still going to explain a little bit more on the threats later on. Now let's now talk about the key concept. Now the business imperative is across 4 areas. The first one is security, scale, assurance, and cloud. And then let me now talk about how intent-based network can help your business across these 4 pillars. Now, for security, you need the best breed of defense against threats. As I said earlier, a lot of us focus on only perimeter-based line of defense. And also in terms of scalability, you see that a lot of connections are coming in, either from your internet network or from the public network that are coming into your network. And if you look at the rate of the flow, it's growing in an exponential rate from tens to hundreds to thousands connections in time to time basis. And also in terms of assurance, so how do you deliver the greater user experience? So how do you assure the greater user experience? Because ultimately you need to meet the expectation of demand of users. Because once they, I mean, I'm going to cite an example. Is customer, it could be your internet customer, which are your users in your internet customer. I mean, your internal user, or it could be your external customer, which are your the customer that bring cash to for the business. So their assurance to be able to have a willingness to have confidence must be guaranteed. And for cloud, so how do you manage across multi-cloud platform? Let's say you are using Azure, or you are using AWS, or you are using Google Cloud Platform. How do you be able to move your workload from your on-premises to the cloud, and then you still have that resound confidence that whatever I'm running up there, I know that it's well secured. So let's talk more on security now. Now, every company needs to be an IT company, whether we like it or not. for any company to be digitized or to be a digital business, must be an IT oriented business. And in that regard, it also means that every company that needs to be an IT must also be an IT security company. For you to be an IT, for you to be your business to be transformed into digital business, security must be a key element that you have at the back of your mind. So the question is, how do you consider security and trust foundation to your business? It's a key thing that has to be considered, because when you're talking about I want to digitize my business, security must be one of the top priorities, and it goes along of how you want to run your internet business networking. Now, security segmentation and onboarding using Cisco software-defined access. So let me go a bit deeper here. Now, for a network to be everywhere across your network, there should be an element of segmentation to segment your server network, to segment your corporate users network, to separate your guest network, to separate contractors network, separate your IoT device network, and everything that you have. There should be a level of segmentation for everything, and then also a level of authorization from your applications to devices and to users. So these software-defined access has been created by Cisco. What we've known in the past was we do things in what are called CLI. So in this era now, things are now being done in a drag and drop. So if I create a policy for a user, which is I create a segmentation policy, I can easily drag such user group into the segmentation where I want them to belong to. If I create a policy for an IoT device, I can easily move them into the segmentation group which they've been created for. Now we can see the act of threat is now on encrypted traffic. Almost about 60% of internet traffic today are encrypted. And threats, most threats of today are now targeting encrypted traffic. So whether we claim that we've encrypted our traffic, either using certificate-based encryption, or we are using an hashing mechanism, threat is still bound into threat. So how do we now be able to mitigate against that? So within the Cisco intent-based networking, which can be, is also termed as Cisco software-defined access, threats can be mitigated in form of traffic encryption analytics. It analyzes the traffic as it flows on the network and be able to detect any malicious threats. And the efficacy is 99.99%, which is to say is high in accuracy. And the false positive was 0.01. So let me now talk a little bit on IoT. So IoT is, I've talked earlier before that for us to be able to onboard our cameras, we onboard our AC control system, we onboard our door access control. We are putting all these things on the network. And I read sometimes last year that a lot of people are now they are not willing to be able to plug such devices, put all those such devices in their home. Why? Because they are bound to be hacked. These devices have an internal EEPROM, which acts like our normal hard drive on PC. The same thing runs on our phone as well. So all these devices are bound to be hacked. And I can remember there is a report last year in which a customer is being targeted, and of course they claim that they've been able to secure their entire devices. They have best breed of anti-malware software running on their devices, but the IoT devices have been neglected, such as the AC control system, the UPS power control. But the main key element which was targeted then was the camera. Camera was bugged and now waiting for a device on the network that is not well secured and protected. As long as he discovered that, he pushed the malicious the exploit kits on that device, and that propagates the entire network to be able to detect which machine has been infected, because the major focus is to focus on that single machine that has been compromised, but not knowing that many machines has been infected. So shadow IT, shadow Internet of Things comes to every business because nobody even know where the device. Everybody put it there and they forget about them, but they are also critical to the business. And we get to know that more of the devices will be coming up on our network on a time-to-time basis. Now, if you are now comparing the workflow time that it takes to be able to manage devices or to be able to install the devices in a time, I know many of us will agree with me that to install in a router at the branch could take almost about 11 hours. Of course, you talk to the ISP, you do all your configuration, somebody start testing, averagely about 11 hours. But what if you have something, a solution that allows you to be able to do plug and play, and in 15 minutes you are up and running? And then also, if you are to work on a 50 device, which average will cost 50 days to implement, if it's doing it by, let's assume it's being done by only one resource, it could take almost about 50 days. And still, you have a solution that even regardless of having 50 devices, those devices can still be set up within 25 minutes. Same time to to install one device is the same time that it takes to install 50 devices. Moving into assurance. Now, if you're looking at where we spend our IT, where IT spend their time, which is the question I pulled up earlier before, which is around the operation. So in the past, our data with our customers has found to be 45% of time. So most of our data that we sent out is found about 43% of time is actually, let me explain it better. We spend almost about 43% of our time to be able to troubleshoot with our customer. It could be internal customer or it could be external customer. So the IT support spend a lot of time to troubleshoot. And that is where we spend a lot of our time and also spend a lot of our money. Why money? Because if a network at the branch goes down, branch, which is the cash cow of the business, suffers to make money. And as they are unable to make money, we are losing a lot of money. And as a result, as we are losing time, money has also been spent, been lost. That's why sometimes, there's a slogan that says time is money. So if you are turning data into insight, end-to-end assurance, so if you have a clear visibility of what is really going on the network, it makes it much easier to be able to know and pinpoint the area of problem and area of challenges on the network. And that will shape the way we'll be able to manage the business. We'll be able to manage the business, we'll be able to manage issues, and be able to tackle those issues as well before they even occur. Because sometimes when we have devices being plugged in the network and then they are there, some of them could be taking a lot of resource on the network. So the visibility and performance. Sometimes a branch will say, oh, this network is so slow, and you're unable to even understand why it is slow because there's lack of visibility. And then also configuration compliance, like you have firewalls and you want to create a standardized policy across all your firewalls. That's prone to be an error for somebody implementing firewalls across 50 branches. What policy has been applied to branch A might be different from the policy that applies to branch B. Why? Because some users in branch A use some categories of applications which is not most especially used at branch B. So there could be a kind of policy created differently for branch A, which is not standard enough. So this allows you to create a standard policy, which is a business-defined policy that can be pushed across your entire network, and it also gives you visibility of your network health. You know the area of where you have challenges in your network in a single pane of the glass. Now let's talk a bit on the cloud. Now the cloud is about innovation of our WAN. So the WAN we know is we talk to an ISP and they provide us an MPLS network. We all know today that MPLS is almost about 4 times more expensive than our regular internet costs. What if you now move some of your traffic that you have on your WAN edge and you now run them over on the internet, which will be secured? Not that you just park it on the internet, but you create a secured tunnel over the internet on your network to your remote branch, which will be much more costless. You could imagine if you are using a one provider A, one provider B, and one provider C because you want to create a reliable network. But what if you have a reliable one A and you now choose and decide to use internet as your redundant? Not only redundant, the internet network will still act as it will be running on active, so that in such that your priority network, your priority applications can run on your WAN, and some classified application can move over the internet. That drives the cost of your bandwidth lower than what you've been paying before, and it could drive it down to up to about 30%. And also, as you have more more devices from hundreds to thousands connecting to your network per day, you have a device proliferation. And also, you're moving your applications to the cloud. So you have your data center, which is your primary data center, and you choose to use the public data center. So the guarantee of you creating a secured network between your data center and the public data center, which could be Azure, AWS, or any public data center that is available within the country. And then we'll see that about 40% of one operational cost, you have about 40% one operational cost savings. And the 20 times more bandwidth will also be saved, because some devices that are not meant to participate on your network or participate on the internet, they will be denied have access to the internet in the first place, like cameras, like it could be anything that is participating on the network, because you just create a standard access policy on your firewall and say, if this network and the categories of network should be able to have access to the internet, they will have access to the internet, regardless of whether you have a proxy server or your proxy network. And then also we also realize that ×4 improving application experience. So experience that people have from your data center and to your both internal and external customer will be much faster. Now we need simplicity and also to lower cost of application experience, and that is how you simplify the way people work, either using the two links together or you use a single link. Now moving into solution overview. So in terms of solution overview, one of the things that we need to first of all consider is our design consideration of how we want our network to work. And that is where we have millions of endpoints, or it could be less than millions, let's say hundreds to thousands of endpoint collection. And we need to define the number of types of devices. Are they wired or wireless? What kind of data source? Are they activators? That needs to be defined. And then also, from a network perspective, to be network as a sensor. So our network will now be a sensor to be able to set and detect and isolate any type of device that are not even meant to onboard on the network in the first place. And then also you manage the skills, that's in terms of automation. So you have a central management which will be able to create a policy and push across your entire network, and that will now give you the business outcome. It will be a business outcome driven. This is how you want your business to run, and then you now see that you have a reduction in cost of your operation, and you also have value. And if you are looking at the service level agreements as against quality of service, you'll be able to have a good measure. And it means you can now associate your IT, which you've already classified as a engine of your business, as against the outcome of your business. Also, part of the design consideration is around security. So we need to increase the attack surface footprint. So you need to understand what are the BYOD, the bring your own devices that are being onboarded on your network. You need to understand the cloud, how cloud affects your network, and then the Internet of Things, which are the classifier I talked about them before, which is could be your cameras and the rest of things. And then also thinking beyond firewall and ensure the security is across everywhere. And then also the integration approach. And then also if whether something happens, you see before or during, and then it's also even attack. Even after the attack has occurred, you need to be able to put that into consideration to be able to understand and track back. And all these things could be more complex. And the increase in the complex also increase in the threat. So, but because you have already created the design you put your design in consideration, then you have a lot of things that 30 plus solution per enterprise. Sometimes people have a lot of solutions here and there that they model up together to be able to create a solution, and it becomes more complex. So how do you be able to manage all these things together? It's also part that needs to be considered. And then the whole thing idea is when I talked about the intent-based network is the Cisco DNA. So the Cisco DNA means Cisco digital architecture, but the element of Cisco digital architecture is where you have a solution that will be able to manage your IT infrastructure, leveraging on the policy that has been created, and you can use that policy to provision your devices. And then also you have a good assurance of being able to manage them successfully. And this cuts across your entire infrastructure, either from your switches, your router, your wireless LAN control, your access point, even your servers as well. Yeah, I've talked a little bit on this before, like deploying your branch. So it makes your branch network more faster and a lower cost. So imagine you have some class of application transversing through the MPLS network, and have another class of application transversing via the internet, either to the public cloud or even to your branch office. So you can leverage on internet for public cloud and also for internet access, and then also secure the VPN. And then also we can create a seamless extensions to the cloud to enable business policy flow and workload. Now, what shape our digital transformation is our buying and ownership. Of course, the intent is I want to buy this class of device infrastructure. You do your research, you evaluate, you select, you purchase, you use it, and you maintain, and then it takes a way of replacing. But Cisco has now moved in an area of saying, when you are buying in the first place, let's say you already have an existing infrastructure you've already acquired, and it gets to the point you say, oh, I've been trying to maintain this. Possibly the maintenance might be you need a software to be able to maintain it for you better. Why? Because many of us we don't classify our switches, our router like our servers. Every now and then we do run and update patches on our server, but we fail to run updates and patches on our switches and our routers. And that will impact, it could have a severe impact on the reason why our network is not even performing optimally as it's been expected to perform optimally. So moving into digital transformation doesn't necessarily mean you need to discard what you currently have. Cisco has put in place a solution called DNA software subscription. The term is Cisco One. One means Cisco Open Network Environment. some of our customers, and which you are part of, could have acquired some Cisco One devices, and the software is there and is unused, is unutilized. And some of us could also be wondering, how do I even utilize this software in the first place? Because they don't even, some don't even know that those softwares are there for them to be used. And it comes in two packages, either in essential or advantage. So what we do is to assist you on how you'll be able to adopt all this software and then be able to maximize your investment, and also you're able to lower your operational cost. So what do you do next? As I've said, you have some class of, a range of devices which people have purchased over time, or you intend to upgrade your network. One of the things that we need to do is to be able to, when you are trying to refresh, we would like to engage with you, or you engage us, so that we'll be able to provide more advice on how you are going to go around when you're trying to do your hardware refresh, so that you are not going to commit your investment in something that might not even fit into your digitalization plan in the first place. And then either way, Signal Alliance is Cisco software advisor, the only software advisor partner in Sub-Saharan Africa. And what we do is to advise our customer on, or Cisco customers on, how to be able to adopt the software that they've already have acquired, or how they be able to adopt software that will be able to drive their business optimally, than thinking of a way of replacing devices. Some people say, oh, I want to discard my 2960 switch and I want to buy another model of 2960 switch. But however, rather than buying a software to be able to manage that switch so that the switch can work optimally, either by upgrading the patches, which is the software, the iOS software on it, which are obsolete, and then be able to move on, and the business will be more agile and more faster. The network will be more agile and more faster. But a lot of people doesn't really know what to do. So at that point, we like to engage you so that we'll be able to give you proper advice on how to be able to get more advantage on your investment. Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone have a question for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Inka. And so this is the point where we take questions. Do we have any questions so far? And by the way, Mr. Inka is going to be in touch with us over time, for instance. So he's going to send us an email should in case we need the slides and all. Okay, so someone asked if we can get the recorded session. Yes. So after this webinar, we're going to send you the recorded session and also introduce you to Mr. Inka so that he can engage with you individually moving forward and see how we can develop customized strategies on how to optimize IT infrastructure in your environment. Okay, so far so good. That's all we have. Thank you so much for your time. We hope you learned a lot, and we're going to engage you moving forward. So do have a nice Friday, and bye-bye.